If you're in Arizona, come by the office. You can ask us in person. And if not, shoot us a message, drop us a comment, and we would love to get to it.
Yep. Our first question comes from Harry. Harry said, I've been thinking about starting my own business, but it feels like a daunting task. What advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs on getting started and staying motivated?
Yeah, so I actually did an interview yesterday. This guy reached out and asked if he could interview me for a entrepreneur specific e-commerce newsletter that he's putting together. And one of his final questions was, what advice would you give to new entrepreneurs or people that are just getting started in e-commerce? And if I remember it correctly, I said, number one, it's going to be the hardest thing you ever did. It'll be way fucking harder than you think it's going to be. And don't get into it unless you're willing to struggle and to go through the challenges and the obstacles. I just said this year was the hardest year mentally and emotionally we've had in a while. Mm-hmm. We've been running this business for 7 years. We make 8 figures a year. You often think in the beginning that once you get to a certain point, things are going to get easier. And the truth is, it doesn't get easier. You just get stronger and you're capable of carrying more weight or juggling more things or making bigger decisions. But if you continually grow, the decisions are continually growing beyond your capabilities. And there will be points and times where it's very, very difficult. It's harder than you ever think it would be. So I'd say that's number one. And for me, I think part of the biggest problem we have in life is we have false expectations, or our perception is very different than the reality. And when I got started, I didn't realize some of these things. And online today, whether it's, internet marketing or in business or whatever, everyone's trying to find the easy button. They want to find how fast you can get there, make 100 grand in 6 months or 7 figures in a year or blah, blah, blah. There's all this bullshit that kind of talks about fast growth, fast momentum. It's going to be easy, passive income. The truth is it's fucking hard. And it will be continuously hard for as long as you play the game. Being a business owner is the longer that you're in business, the greater likelihood that you will go out of business.
Fail. Mm-hmm.
So, and the stats show that in the first 10 years, 80% of businesses go out of business. And then in the second 10 years, another 80% of businesses go out of business.
So you got 80%.
So if you have 100,
80% of 18. Yeah. So 2 businesses out of 100 are left after 20 years?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Oh, 4.
Yeah. So if you have 100 and 80% die, you're left with 20.
Yeah.
Right? And then if 80% of those die, I believe the math would be 4. Mm-hmm. Right? So 4 out of 100 over 20 years. And no one's immune from this. Freaking Blockbuster, $1 billion company, out of business.
Small, big, retail, online.
Kodak, $1 billion company, bankrupt, and now basically, they were the market leader. What's really fascinating about Kodak is they literally developed the digital camera, but they made the decision not to take it to market because they thought it would hurt their film business, right? So that's a decision that they made that basically put them into bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. So number one, it's going to be the hardest thing you ever did. And I share that with love because I want you to understand that it will be fucking hard. If someone's telling you it's easy, they're lying to you. And I would rather tell you the truth that you don't want to hear than placate you.
They're trying to tell you it's easy. It's probably because they're trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
It's easy. Just buy this platform. It does all the work for you. Use AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was number one. It's going to be the hardest thing you ever did. Number two, you got to have a long-term vision. I know in my life, the biggest mistakes I made were when I was trying to make fast money or trying to get instant gratification. Oh, this investment's going to make me a shitload of money in 6 months. Lose it all. Oh, this business opportunity, if I jump on it and I ride the wave of it, I'm going to get X amount of money in X amount of time. Goes out of business. For me and with Live Bearded, I think our entire experience of what we were doing day to day and then the opportunity that the company created shifted when we stopped thinking in terms of 6 to 12 months at a time to 5 to 10 years at a time. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I was going to reflecting back on Live Bearded. If it was 6 or 12 months, we would have folded up shop. We weren't able to pay ourselves for the first 18 months. And mind you, we worked 6 days a week around the clock, 12, 14, 16-hour days. We allowed ourselves Sundays off for the first 18 months without the ability to even pay ourselves. Had we had a shorter time horizon expectation of, we're going to make money in 6 months, 12 months, Live Bearded would have never existed. But with a big enough why and enough commitment to that vision, with the right inputs and the execution around the fucking clock, then it pushes that out and allows you to kind of weather those storms and stay committed through it.
Yeah, I heard this from Tony Robbins. He says the success of a business is in direct proportion to the psychology of the business owner. Or said in other ways, the whether you win or lose in business is going to come down to your psychology and your ability to weather the storms and how you approach the game of business. So that's why my first two, in the interview that I did, A, it's going to be fucking hard. Anticipate it. B, you're going to have to be willing to play a long-term game. right? If you're trying to get rich quick, you're going to fucking fail. And yes, there is random ass people,
Outliers.
outliers,
Yeah, for sure.
opportunities that you do have quick success, but disclaimers don't disprove the rule. And the rule is most people in business, it takes much, much longer than they thought it was going to take. Once you get the mindset right, okay, it's going to be fucking hard and it's going to take me a long time. The next most important thing is understanding marketing, because you can have the best product in the world, but if no one knows it exists, you are not going to sell shit. Right? If you build it, they will not come, especially in a world that is completely over commoditized and as distracted in terms of all the different options and opportunities that there are. So you have to figure out how to market your product. There's a variety of ways that you could do that. We don't have the time to get into it today, but learning how to market is the single most important thing. And I'll leave you guys with this. Peter Drucker, who is one of the greatest business thinkers of all time, says all a business is marketing and innovation. So find a way to sell a product and then innovate on that product and innovate on that marketing and innovation. And if you can figure those two things out, then you can have some success.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add to that, and I think 100% spot on, is find ways to add more value than anybody else can.
Yes.
Right? Because at the end of the day, like what you're trying to do is build a relationship with your future potential customers. And if you're not adding value and you're trying to sell shit, well, to your point, everything is becoming commoditized. You can find cheaper products that are, on Amazon, whatever else. If you don't add value to your customers, they're going to leave you for a cheaper option, whatever. And so I think every opportunity, every interaction, every communication, how can you add value to your customers? I mean, taking it back to early days of Live Bearded, we literally asked, how can we make our guys' day better every single day through every single interaction? Because we genuinely cared about adding value to their lives. And I think that's a huge part of what's been allowed us to create the success within Live Bearded and build the community that we have.
Yeah, it's the secret sauce for sure. I'm so glad you brought that up, because at the end of the day, if you have, like, we sell beard products. There's a dozen, 24, 100, 1,000 other companies that sell beard oil as well, right? So then how do you stand out from the crowd? How do you actually build a community of people or build a business, a brand that has loyalty? It is by figuring out ways to add more value to your customers in your unique way than any other competitor can. And there's a variety of different ways to do this, but finding a way to add tangible value or intangible
Could be
value
intangible, yeah.
to your customers is, I think, arguably the greatest hack that exists in business. There's this article for anybody who really wants to start a business or is thinking about it. Google 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly. And what he talks about is how to create a raving fan by really adding value, but also the psychology of the way to approach it and how to think about it, but adding value. And so we sell beard oil. Okay, cool. But like, what else can we do? And we've spent years at this point thinking about how we can add additional value, how we can connect and build rapport and ultimately facilitate a customer experience that we believe is greater than anyone else, or at least different and authentic to us in a way that no one else can do. And that's where the game is won or lost.
To sum it up a little bit, look for ways to add value to the extreme in any capacity like that and just dive into it head first, no matter, like 100% all the way through. Don't try to tiptoe around it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you said it a lot more eloquently. Mine's the For Dummies version of the book. Great. Thanks, Harry. Next question we have is, with so much information out there, it's hard to separate fact from fiction. How can men become more critical thinkers and make well-informed decisions in a world filled with misinformation? From Joe.
So I don't know why I want to go back to that last question for a minute, because I was thinking about this value question, and it reminded me of an experience we had in Thailand.
Uh-oh.
Hold on, Joe.
Hold on, Joe.
Hold on, Joe.
We have to
It's
talk
story time.
about Thailand.
No, it is so silly. And even I know that this is the truth, but I still enjoyed it. Remember the ice cream lady?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So there was this ice cream truck. It was literally a fucking van that she retrofitted to have ice cream coolers in the back.
Coconut ice
It was the best handmade coconut ice cream. At least she claimed it was handmade. Coconut ice cream ever.
It was legit.
It was fucking amazing. We would literally get on our scooters
It's like a 20-minute drive.
drive 20, 25 minutes for a lunch break.
Wait, like like Vespa scooters.
Yeah.
Oh, scooter life.
Yeah, like mopeds.
Wait, dude, feeling some ice cream, bro? Fuck
Yeah, man,
let's
let's
go.
go.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, by the way, just riding a fucking scooter in Thailand is cool enough, right? But But
Isn't
driving
it
20
super dangerous? Like, isn't it really dangerous in Thailand to drive one of those things?
We were on a small island.
It
So
was-
okay,
it
so
was
you're-
not like a
okay.
big city, big island.
and
cruisers.
everybody drives one. So actually, I think it's safer to drive scooters in Asia than it is to ride motorcycles in the U.S. because the amount of awareness,
awareness,
of people,
yeah.
like one for one, there's probably twice as many scooters as there is cars. On some places, like on the island we were at, it was probably 3 or 4 to 1 in terms of more scooters than cars.
Yeah.
So people in a car are aware of their
aware,
surroundings and what's going on. Versus here, I'm riding my motorcycle into the office and this fucking girl next to me is like driving with her knees, putting on makeup, fucking eating at the same time. Like, dude, it's shit's scary. But my point is, so we get to this
Ice
ice
cream.
cream place and every fucking time, I remember the first couple times I went there, she'd be like, oh, hello, my friend. Hello, my friend. I make good deal for you. I give you extra scoop. I give you extra scoop. So I'm thinking, damn, she's giving me
Hooking me
value,
up.
right? Like,
Yeah.
she recognizes me. I'm coming back. She's saying, hello, my friend. How are you? I'm going to give you extra scoop, right? And so I was thinking like, damn, it's worth this 25-minute drive. A, because it's great. And B, she always gives me an extra scoop, right? Until one day I was standing in line behind someone else who I could tell had never been there before because they didn't know anything about it. And she goes, oh, I give you extra scoop. And I was like, wait a minute.
I'm not special.
Wait a minute.
I'm not special.
And then the next time, right, I was like paying attention. And not that I care, right? Because it still worked on me, but I was just
Oh, you
curious.
care because you're talking about it right now.
I'm a business guy, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking in terms of marketing, like, oh, does she do this all the time or does she just do it to me because I'm a regular, you know? And sure enough, every fucking person, I give you extra scoop just for you. I give you a good deal. I'm like, so she's giving people extra scoops to add extra value, right? Super simple, dorky thing. And it's really not a great example of this lesson, right? But the moral of the story is people want more value, even if they know that it's kind of bullshit or that other people are getting the same value. If they feel like they're getting more value, they're likely going to come back.
They want to feel special.
They want to feel
feel
special.
special.
Yeah, 100%.
Extra scoop.
There's a restaurant that I
Yeah.
go to all the time now, fucking literally every day. It's retarded. But every time I go there, they know my order. Hey, they give me 25% off. The other day I went there, they're like, hey man, this meal's on me. Just fucking gave me the whole dinner for free, right? And then I go to the coffee shop around the corner and I'm sharing these stories for you guys that are out there listening because there's so many ways you can add value. It could be more product, but it could just be understanding someone's order. When I go to a place and they know my fucking order, I'm like, oh damn, I went to Hawaii like 6 months ago. No, in October. I went to Hawaii in October. It's December, so 2 months ago. I haven't been there in a year. I walk into one of my favorite restaurants. The girl behind the counter is like, oh, it's so good to see you. Do you want your usual? I was like, what's
After
my
6 months?
I'm like, what's my usual? This was a year, bro.
Oh, a year?
I'm like, what's my usual? She's like, you want the salad with seared ahi, right? And fries? I was like, holy shit. Like, I love this place. Because they recognized, they knew me. There was that personal touch, right? I go to the coffee shop by my house. They know my name. They put on the thing, Mink, boom. They know what my order is. So I share this because, and if you're not in business, but you're thinking about your experience with other people, you tend to do business with people that make you feel like you're valued, right? I had I love business, so I'm going off on so many tangents. I had the opposite experience recently. There's a coffee shop by our place. I'm going to freaking name it. It's called Schmooze, right? Beautiful coffee shop, probably one of the coolest coffee shops in the Valley. About a year ago, I went and sat down and I was working, and the guy comes up to me. He's like, hey man, just so you know, you only have 60 minutes. I was like, excuse me? He's like, oh, we're reserving this for people that are eating and not working on their computer. So you can only be here for 60 minutes. And I was like, wow, okay. I never went back until like a week ago. I didn't go back for a year. And a week ago, I was like, you know what? I really like this place. I was going to meet a friend there anyways. So I went early, sat down, opened up my laptop. Within 10 minutes, that same dude, the owner, comes up to me. He's like, hey man, you can't sit here and work. And I was so taken back. I was like, sir, can I?
At least they're consistent.
I was like, sir, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a local. I live right around the corner. I get in the winter, it's busy season and you're busier here now. But in the summer, when it's fucking dead and no one wants to come here, I'm the local customer that you're driving away. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, when you tell your local customers that you don't want their business by telling them they can't come here and
stay.
work, you're literally hurting your own business. And he's like, this is the best part. He goes, well, if you knew anything about business, you would understand.
Oh.
I was like, okay. He's like, I make my money from people that eat food, not just drink coffee and work.
He didn't know.
I was like, wow, this guy, short-term.
He was not curious.
Short-term thinking was not focused on providing an experience, was focused on how can I get immediate results? How can I move people in and out? I don't want to build a relationship. I just want to get money. And what's interesting is I go to a lot of coffee shops. I do a lot of business meetings. I literally was like, I'm sorry you feel that way, sir. I'm going to, like, just being honest with you. I will never come here again, and I will never refer anybody else here again. And I will never have any more business meetings or anything, because this type of experience with a customer is what drives people away. And he just like walked away from me. And I didn't do it out of spite. I was like genuinely trying to say, like, we have to be honest about our experience. And if we're going to improve, for anybody out there that's listening, if we fuck up at Live Bearded, we want you to tell us. We want you to say, you fucked up. You did this and this sucked. And I want that
It's
to
the
be
only way we learn.
fixed.
It's the only way we can do better and improve on what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
You should have taken that feedback as like, oh, wow, maybe there is something here. Okay,
Yeah.
tell me more. And
Yeah.
actually hear,
Yeah.
Well, and
I do want to point out that you guys actually do, like, you do that to an extreme. If like a butter spills or something in a package, it's just like it gets all over
care of
everything.
it.
Yeah, it's like Jeremy or Kane or Justin. They're just like, oh yeah, we got you, brother, and then like it's fixed, and like customers happy.
yeah. So why did I go down this tangent? Because there's a lot of people that probably aren't business owners. They're probably thinking, what the fuck does this have to do with anything?
Yeah, sorry, Joe. Keep waiting.
In so many ways, business is the game of life, whether you're a consumer or you're a producer. And everything that we experience in the modern world today was sold from someone to be used by someone else, right? Our experience, everything that we have in this room right here was sold from someone to someone so that we could do this. So it's unavoidable for us to not think that we're wrapped up in this game of business or consumption, right? And so I think if you want to have better relationships, finding ways to make people feel special, finding ways to make them feel valued, extra phone call. One of the things that I do at the end of the year, and I don't do it all the time. The end of the year is a good time to think about doing it, but I try to do it throughout the year, is I'll just record a random video and send them to people. Hey man, I was just thinking about you. Just want to say thank you. We haven't chatted in a while. You know, I really value our friendship, blah, 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 blah. One of the guys who bought my first businesses, he wrote me a check for $545,000. Like a couple of years went by and I hadn't talked to the guy. And it was around New Year's. And I just recorded a message. I was like, hey, his name was Shannon. I was like, hey, Shannon, you know, I know we haven't chatted in a while, but I just really want to say thank you, blah, 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 shit, whatever. Just thanked him for for the impact that he had in my life, for the advice, for everything, the experience. And I sent it to him. He sent me a message back and was like, that is genuinely one of the nicest things anyone has ever sent me. I've never received a message like that. He's like, if you ever need anything, I'm always here. Because it was coming from a place of genuine like authenticity and vice versa. And I've done that before for a lot of different people just as a way to stay in touch. And what I realized is like, wow, I'm adding value to people and they like that. So if you're in business or you're not, if you're a parent or you're not, like the game of life in a lot of ways is finding a way to serve other people. And the more that we can serve other people, the more that service comes back to us. The more that we love on other people, the more that love comes back. Whether it's in business, relationships, or any aspect of our life. I'm really glad you brought up the value tangent because it like really took this in a much more tangible way, because to me, we're here to serve a higher calling other than ourselves. You know, some people think that's a religious sense, but it could just mean, how can I serve humanity in a higher sense? And I think those two things are connected and aligned. So it doesn't matter what you believe, but bringing awareness to like how we experience things and then how we can support and love on each other, I think is the most powerful thing we can do. Okay, what did Joe say now?
Yeah,
Dennis, Joe, James, what was his name?
Joe. It was Joe.
If you like that tangent, drop me a comment in the message, or drop me a comment below and let me know. And if you think I went off on some bullshit rant and it sucked, drop me that comment too, so I can learn and grow and get better.
Yeah. One last thing, my friend is it's a joke thing. So being nice and sending random messages to people, that was actually a prank I used to pull on people in high school. Back when you didn't have like phone locks or something, and you could get into someone's phone just by like picking up the phone.
Flipping it.
Yeah, just by flipping it.
Opening it.
But I would go in and I would send as many messages as I could. Like I think the most I got once was 30. I'd send 30 texts out, and it was always the same message. It was I just wanted to tell you I've always admired you. And that was the text I sent out to everyone. And then like they get their phone back and then it starts like blowing back up. And everyone's really happy and it's positive. And they're just like, I didn't send the message. So they either tell them I don't admire you or they just have to own up to it. Fun prank.
Like a positive prank.
If you can unlock a phone now.
Nice.
But yeah. Sorry, Joe. Here we go.